ومكائد البحار وعدد قطر الأمطار وعدد ورق الأشجار وعدد ما أظلم عليه الليل وما أشرق عليه النهار ولا تواري منه سماء سماء ولا أرض أرضا الحلال ما أحللت والحرام ما حرمت والدين ما شرعت والأمر ما قضيت الخلق خلقك والعبد عبدك وأنت الله الرؤوف الرحيم. وصلى الله تعالى على حبيبه ونبيه صلى الله عليه وسلم. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: أنا وكافل اليتيم في الجنة كهاتين، يشير بإصبعيه، أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. And before I begin translating, I would like to wish everyone Eid Mubarak. Sorry, not Eid Mubarak, Ramadan Mubarak. Now, yesterday we finished, alhamdulillah, the entire Al Imran. So inshallah we'll start with Surah Nisa. This surah was revealed after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam migrated to Medina. Now, this was a time when Muslims faced many masail in Medina. Most of the surah was revealed after the Battle of Badr. And the reason why the surah is called Surah Nisa is because it talks about the ahkam of Nisa in details. After the Battle of Uhud, a lot of women had become widows and a lot of children had become orphans. So the beginning of the surah talks about the rights of orphans and how we should take care of them. And up until ayah number 35, this surah talks about ahkam of nikah, talaq, as well as the rights of marriage. And a portion of this surah will also talk about jihad. Now, in the beginning of the surah, when we read, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ اتَّقُوا رَبَّكُمُ الَّذِي خَلَقَكُم مِّن نَّفْسٍ وَاحِدَةٍ وَخَلَقَ مِنْهَا زَوْجَهَا وَبَثَّ مِنْهُمَا رِجَالًا كَثِيرًا وَنِسَاءً وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ الَّذِي تَسَاءَلُونَ بِهِ وَالْأَرْحَامَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلَيْكُمْ رَقِيبًا. Now here, from وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ الَّذِي تَسَاءَلُونَ بِهِ وَالْأَرْحَامَ, here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is instructing and reminding those people that when you seek your right, when you seek your haqq from someone, when you seek your right from someone, you tend to say, "O person, fear Allah, remember Allah Ta'ala, fear Him, please for the sake of Allah Ta'ala, return my loan, return my right." So, just as you tell them to fear Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, you should also fear Allah Ta'ala when you have to return someone's right. Meaning today, when people, when they are in need of their right, when they go to someone and they have to, acquire, or they have to, they're waiting for their right to be returned. So now, to scare this person, to warn this person, you say, fear Allah, please for the sake of Allah, I need that money back, fear Allah. And we tend to talk about akhirah as well. We say, if you don't give me my money back, this will happen to you on Yawm al-Qiyamah, this will happen to you, that will happen to you, this punishment will befall you, and etc. Now Allah Ta'ala is saying, now just as you remind others of Allah Ta'ala, you should remind yourselves about Allah Ta'ala when you have to return someone's loan. Now, meaning that when we tend to mention the name of Allah, we tend to instill the fear of Allah in the hearts of people when we have to take something from them. But when we have to give something back to someone else comes to us for a loan or to claim their right back, we tend to forget this. Now, moving on, like I mentioned earlier, that that this surah also talks about the rights of orphans, because after that, a lot of women had become widows and a lot of children had become orphans. So now, وَآتُوا الْيَتَامَ أَمْوَالَهُم إلى until the end of the ayah, إِنَّهُ كَانَ حُوبًا كَبِيرًا. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is instructing, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us to refrain for those people who have orphans under their care. Those people who have orphans under their care, you should not do the following. Number one, that when these orphans become baligh, these are the things that you should do. When these orphans become baligh, hand over their amanah to them. Now this is one thing. These are the following instructions that Allah Ta'ala is telling us to do and what not to do. When these orphans become baligh, when they reach the age of purity, you have to give their wealth that is assigned, that is appointed for them, that is in their inheritance. You have to hand it over to them. Moving on, do not exchange your wealth with their wealth. Meaning, now a person has wealth, and he under his care is an orphan. Now, the poor orphan, he does not know what he's about to receive. Now, when this person who is taking care of this orphan, when he sees the wealth of the deceased person, he sees his wealth and when he thinks to himself, the wealth that this child is about to receive, it's not really worth for him. It's better if I keep it. So thereafter he exchanges it. He takes the wealth, and may Allah Ta'ala protect us from this if we have orphans under our care. He takes his wealth and he exchanges it with his own wealth. And he says and he claims in this wealth that he is about to receive it's not really for him. Now, number 3, another instruction, do not mix their wealth with yours. Thereafter, use some of it for your need. So now, the wealth that is reserved for the orphan, let it be. Leave it be. Do not take this wealth. Thereafter, take some benefit from this wealth as well. Mix it with their wealth. Keep some portion for yourself, and keep some portion for the child. Now, moving on to ayah number 7. Before we move on to ayah number 7, we will do ayah number 3. فانكحوا ما طاب لكم من النساء مثنى وثلاث ورباع فإن خفتم ألا تعدلوا فواحدة أو ما ملكت أيمانكم ذلك أدنى ألا تعولوا. Now, at the time of Jahiliyyah, there was no specific amount of wives a person could have. So now at the time of Jahiliyyah, some had 5, some had 10, and some even had 20 at one time. Now this has cancelled everything. Now this ayah, I'm talking about this ayah. This ayah, when this ayah was revealed, it cancelled everything. And it has only given permission to 4. A person is allowed to have 4 at the same time. 4 at the same time. Mathna wa thulatha wa ruba'. 4 is the maximum a person can have at the same time, on the condition that all are treated equally. Now, on the other hand, if a person is not able to do so, treat them equally, then if a person is not able to treat them equally, then it is better for a person to marry one and to fulfill all her needs. Now, that's the gist of this. Now, moving on to ayah number 7. للرجال نصيب مما ترك الوالدان والأقربون وللنساء نصيب مما ترك الوالدان والأقربون مما قل منه أو كثر نصيبا مفروضا. Now, then again, as we know, there were many practices before at the time of Jahiliyyah, before the birth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There were many practices that people used to have, many traditions, many rituals that people used to do as well. Now, at the time of Jahiliyyah, women were not given inheritance. Women were not given anything. So now, if the person passed away, he had some wealth with him. There was no portion for women. They had no portion. Once a person at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away, so his brothers took all his wealth. His brothers took all his inheritance. His wife was deprived of the inheritance because she was a woman and she had no right, she had no portion in it. And the children were deprived because the children were not baligh, they had not reached balagha, and they were underage. So because of these two reasons, the children were not baligh. The wife, of course, being a female, she was not allowed to have a portion from the mirath. So now, upon this occasion, after this occasion, this ayah was revealed that no, there is a specific portion for the women, and if the children are little, if they are young, if they are underage, their portion shall be reserved. Now, from here, ayah number 11 and 12. يوصيكم الله في أولادكم until the end of this ayah. إن الله كان عليما حكيما. Ayah number 11, if you have your Quran open. The next ayah, ولكم نصف ما ترك. This ayah all the way until the end of this ayah as well. So the beginning of this ayah and until all the way and until the end of this ayah. والله عليم حليم. والله عليم حليم. Now, in this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the ahkam of wasiyah and different portions. Now, we will not get into the details of this. Moving on to ayah number 15. وَاللَّاتِ يَأْتِينَ الْفَاحِشَ مِنْ نِسَائِكُمْ. Now, as for those who have done something wrong, who have committed a crime, and I don't want to go into the details of this, but hopefully everyone will understand what kind of crime. Now, in the beginning, فَأَمْسِكُوهُنَّ فِي الْبُيُوتِ حَتَّى يَتَوَفَّاهُنَّ الْمَوْتِ. As for their punishments who were engaged and involved in this crime, in this sin, as for the women, their punishment in the beginning was they were to stay home for the rest of their lives حَتَّى يَتَوَفَّاهُنَّ الْمَوْتِ, until they were to stay in their houses for the rest of their lives, and thereafter they would pass away in their house. They were not allowed to leave. But thereafter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made another way for them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it easier for them. أَوْ يَجْعَلَ اللَّهُ لَهُنَّ سَبِيلًا. Thereafter, Allah ta'ala made another way out. وَاللَّذَانِ يَأْتِيَانِهَا مِنْكُمْ فَآذُوهُمَا. Now this was فَآذُوهُمَا. This was their punishment. Now, whether it be a male or whether it be a female, if they have committed this crime, فَآذُوهُمَا. After then, we will not go into the details of this. So you punish them, and most of us may know the punishment. فَإِنْ تَابَ وَأَصْلَحَ. But if after the punishment, they do tawbah, they correct themselves. وَأَعْرِضُوا عَنْهُمَا. So let them be. إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ تَوَّابًا رَحِيمًا. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all forgiving. Indeed, Allah ta'ala is forgiving, and He is merciful. Now, moving on to ayah number 22. وَلَا تَنْكِحُوا مَا نَكَحَ آبَاؤُكُمْ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ. All the way until وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا. Now, do not marry whom your fathers have married. In other words, your stepmothers. Now, this was then again another practice that people used to do at the time of Jahiliyyah. So they were allowed and they would marry their stepmothers, and this was something that they did not find this to be strange nor weird. So this ayah, and this was a norm at the time of Jahiliyyah. This is what people used to do. They would marry their stepmothers. So this ayah revealed and the hukm of this, and it nullified what was before this. So this ayah was revealed, and Allah Ta'ala says, وَلَا تَنْكِحُوا مَا نَكَحَ آبَاؤُكُمْ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ إِلَّا مَا قَدْ سَلَفَ. Now, if you have done so, it is okay. Now, for those people who have already married their stepmothers, it is okay. But after this ayah was revealed, a person was not allowed to marry their stepmother. After this ayah was revealed. Now, moving on to ayah number 29. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تأكلوا أموالكم بينكم بالباطل إلا أن تكون تجارة عن تراض منكم ولا تقتلوا أنفسكم إن الله كان بكم رحيما. Now, just how taking other people's wealth is bad, killing someone is in fact worse than this. Because by killing someone, a person is killing himself. Meaning that the word وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ has been used. Do not kill yourselves. But the ta'abir of this ayah is do not kill others, because by killing others, you are killing yourself. Meaning that today, when you kill someone, it can happen so that now you have taken someone's life. It can happen so that the family members or the relatives of that person, of the deceased person, may be looking for you. It can happen so that now that you have killed that person, these people are after you, and they will kill you. Now, then again, I will not go into the details of this ayah as well. Moving on to ayah number, inshallah, today our goal is to finish the entire 5th juz. So now if you have your Quran open, you can also read along and you can also follow along as well. Moving on to ayah number 34. الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم فالصالحات قانتات حافظات للغيب بما حفظ الله. Now, this right here was revealed when women in Medina, they wanted to go for jihad as well, so they can earn more rewards. Now, the brief understanding of this is, the brief description of this ayah, and the gist and the crux of this ayah is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed this, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them that every person is created differently. Some have, now, the gist of this is that there is no difference between men and women. Each and every person will not be given rewards based on their gender, based on their capabilities, rather based on their amal. Now, if you have a pious woman who is more pious than a male who is not pious, the woman will get more rewards than her. Now, on the other hand, you have a male who is more pious than one woman. Than a woman, then this man will have more rewards than the woman who's not as pious or less pious than this person. And this is to show you as well that in a beautiful hadith, as Allah Ta'ala says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَىٰ أَجْسَامِكُمْ. Indeed, Allah Ta'ala does not look at your bodies. Allah Ta'ala does not look at how fat or how skinny a person is. وَلَا إِلَىٰ صُوَرِكُمْ. He does not look at your appearance as well. This person is more beautiful. This person is less. This person has bigger eyes. This person his eyes are more beautiful. Allah Ta'ala does not look at this, and He does not look at this. وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرُ إِلَىٰ قُلُوبِكُمْ. Rather, Allah Ta'ala looks at the hearts. وَأَعْمَالِكُمْ. Allah Ta'ala looks at your actions. And this is also to show you, my dear respected brothers and sisters, we determine our destiny by what we do, not by who we are. So alhamdulillah, we don't have the caste system, but for example, if a person was to be of a higher caste, now it is not okay for this person to think that since I'm of a higher caste, I will be in a higher state of place in Jannah. No, because then again, we determine our destiny by our actions, by what we do, not by who we are. So this is the brief, very brief description, very brief translation of this ayah, to show that women and men are equal. Some have been given priority over others, but in terms of a'mal, everyone is equal. In terms of a'mal, everyone is equal. Now, moving on to ayah number 36. وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا وبالوالدين إحسانا وبذي القربى واليتامى والمساكين والجار ذي القربى والجار الجنب والصاحب بالجنب وابن السبيل, until the end of the ayah. من كان مختارا فخورا. Now here, when we read Quran today, not only Quran, but when we read Hadith today, we will find the importance throughout Hadith, throughout Quran, we will find the importance of neighbors. And how important it is for a person to fulfill the rights of his neighbors. Now in this ayah, 3 types of neighbors have been mentioned. الجاري والجاري ذي القربى. Now, this neighbor is referring to the neighbor that lives close to you, your closest neighbor. Ulama, and there are different opinions. Ulama Mufassirin, they've also said this is your neighbor that, his house is attached to your house. They have also said this al-Jari dhil qurba is also referring to as your Muslim neighbor. Mufassirin and ulama have also said this. They have also said this is referring to your neighbor who is your relative. But nevertheless, this means your neighbor, your close neighbor. Wal-Jari al-Junubi. Now this refers to as your neighbor who is further than al-Jari al-Qurba, who is further than the first neighbor, and some have even said this is referring to as your non-Muslim neighbor. So some have said this is your neighbor that is a little further than Jari al-Qurba, the one who is right next to you, a little further. And some have even said that no, this is your non-Muslim neighbor. Now the third type is وَالصَّاحِبِ بِالْجَنْبِ. Now وَالصَّاحِبِ بِالْجَنْبِ, this is also your neighbor, but this neighbor is referring to as your temporary neighbor. Now this is, for instance, when you are traveling. Let's say you are traveling and you book out a hotel. You reserve a room. Now the person on your right, the person on your left, these are your وَالصَّاحِبِ بِالْجَنْبِ. These are your your temporary neighbors. Now some have even said these are your temporary neighbors, not only these people, but when you are standing in a line. Let's say you go to Best Buy, let's say you go to Tim Hortons, you go to McDonald's, or wherever you go, just an example, wherever you go, let's say you're standing in a line. Now, the people who are standing beside you, the people who are standing right next to you, these are also your neighbors, and you have to take care of them. Today, my dear respected brothers and sisters, today it is sad to say just a little explanation of this, inshallah. Today it is sad to say, people, when it comes to having connection with Allah, some of us, our connection with Allah Ta'ala, alhamdulillah, is okay. We maintain a good connection with Allah Ta'ala. Meaning we are praying salah on time. When it comes for Hajj, we perform our Hajj with all of its ahkam, with all of its rulings. When it comes to Umrah, we make sure and we make the best of Umrahs. We perform the best of Umrahs. When it comes to fasting in the month of Ramadan, we think and we tend to maximize our ajr, our rewards. But my dear respected brothers, now these are all relationships. These are all relationships that are linked with Allah Ta'ala. This connection that we have in Salah. If someone else comes in Salah, and so you cannot, when you are praying Salah, if you talk to someone else in Salah, during Salah, your Salah is broken because this connection that you have is with Allah Ta'ala. Similarly, Sawm, when you're fasting, this link that you have is with Allah Ta'ala. When a person performs Hajj, this link that he has is with Allah Ta'ala. When a person performs Umrah, this link that he has with Allah Ta'ala. Today, it is sad to say our relationship with Allah Ta'ala is, I wouldn't say it's too good, but it's sustainable. It's okay. But unfortunately, our relationship with people, the way we deal with people, the way we deal with, now a person may be praying 5 times salah in the masjid. But ask his neighbor, how is this person with you? How is this person with you? And today a person may be going for Hajj Umrah. Ask his family members, how is this person with you? It is sad to say, my dear respected brother, one small story I would like to share with you and give you the importance of taking care of our neighbors and how important it is. This is something that is being neglected. It's something that is being overlooked. Once there was a pious person and who had a dream. And in his dream, he had two angels had come, and they were telling him, and they were briefly telling him and giving him a description about Hajj, and they were taking account for how many people had come for Hajj this year. So the two angels were telling this person, this year, nearly, I forget the amount, they said, these many people have come for Hajj. All of their Hajj none of their Hajj got accepted except for one person. So now this person was shocked, this pious person was shocked. And he said, who is this person? And the angel said, this person whose Hajj got accepted did not even come for Hajj himself. So now he was even more shocked. He said, how is this possible? The people who went for Hajj, their Hajj did not get accepted, but this person whose Hajj got accepted, he didn't even come for Hajj himself. So he said there's a reason, and this person is living, and they pointed towards a village where he was living in. So this pious person, he wanted to see, and he wanted to see as to why, and as to how his Hajj got accepted, and this person did not even go for Hajj himself. So when he went to this person, there was a couple, a husband and a wife. So he asked, he said, and he narrated the story, his dream. He said, this happened to me, and he said he wanted to inquire as to what happened. He wanted to find out as to what happened and how his Hajj got accepted. So he said, well, for many, many years, my wife and I, we wanted to go for Hajj. Now, we do not have the means to go for Hajj. We do not have enough money to go for Hajj. So finally, when we had enough money to go for Hajj, my wife said, why don't you tell your neighbor? Why don't you tell your neighbor that we are going for Hajj? Why don't you ask him, are there any du'as that he would like for us to make for him? So this person said, when I went to my neighbor, I saw them eating meat. I saw them eating meat. So I asked them, what are you eating? They said, we are eating donkey meat. So he was shocked. He said, why are you eating donkey meat? Donkey meat is haram. He said, I know this is haram, but Allah Ta'ala has said it is okay for a person to eat donkey meat. It is okay for a person to eat haram food, little portion to just to survive. We don't have enough money to buy halal food. That's why we are eating this dead donkey. Thereafter, right away, this person went back to his wife and he said the entire story. Now, this person, after talking to his wife, both of them went to their neighbor and they gave him the money that they had reserved for Hajj. They bought fresh meat for him. Thereafter, they gave him money to take care of him and his family. And he said to himself that how can I go for Hajj when my neighbor is eating dead meat? How can I go for Hajj when my neighbor is eating the meat of a donkey? So he said, this is what I did, and this was the story. So my dear respected brothers, just by taking care of his neighbor, Allah Ta'ala accepted his Hajj. Of course, he had the niyyah of Hajj as well. The point and the gist of the story is we have to take care of our neighbors. Today, my dear respected brothers, we have to understand there are two types of hukuk, there are two types of rights in this world. One, there are two types of a'mal. The first a'mal being, and this a'mal is linked with Allah Ta'ala. This connection is with Allah Ta'ala. For instance, a person prays salah. Allah Ta'ala, no one will give you rewards for praying salah. Only Allah Ta'ala will. A person who fasts in the month of Ramadan, no one will give you rewards for this. Only Allah Ta'ala will. A person who goes for Umrah, a person who goes for Hajj, a person who gives sadaqah in the path of Allah, no one will compensate for you. Only Allah Ta'ala will give you rewards. Now, this is called huququllah. And ulama have even said, and the others are huquq al-ibad, the rights people have over you. Your family members and your neighbors, and how a person is when he's making transactions. Is he deceiving them, and etc. Now, my dear respected brothers and sisters, ulama have even said, on Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah Ta'ala will forgive his own rights. Allah Ta'ala now a person, he has missed few psalm here and there, Allah Ta'ala will say, okay, you know what? Because every person will go to Jannah through the mercy of Allah Ta'ala, not based on our a'mal. Allah Ta'ala will forgive his own huququllah. But when it comes to huquq al-ibad, Allah Ta'ala will say, no, sorry, I cannot forgive this. I can forgive huququllah because it's linked between me and you. Huquq al-ibad is something that I cannot forgive unless that person forgives you, you cannot enter into Jannah. Or unless and until that person gives you his own sins, or unless and until that you you give him your hasanat, you cannot go to Jannah. Adl will take place. So my dear respected brothers and sisters, then again, we have to take care of our Muslim brothers. Not only our Muslim brothers, not only our Muslim neighbors, even if our neighbor is a non-Muslim, even if our neighbor is a non-Muslim, we still have to take care of them. This was the brief, then again, a very brief It wasn't too detailed, a very brief explanation of neighbors. Now, reading from ayah number 43. So for those who have their Qur'ans open, if you can open up to ayah number 23. Now the beginning of this ayah, the beginning of this record starts off with Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu la taqrabu as-salah wa antum sukara. O people, do not go, all those people who have believed, la taqrabu as-salah, do not go near salah. Do not intend to pray wa antum sukara, whilst you are intoxicated, whilst you are drunk. Now this ayah was revealed when khamar, wine, was not haram. Now this ayah was revealed when it was not haram. Only this hukam was given, don't pray, don't go near salah while you are intoxicated, while you are drunk. For this reason, khamar will be considered haram at any time. Now this was to show that, khamar was not haram, but in the near future, this was also an indication that now that, this ayah has been revealed, in the near future, khamar, wine, will be haram completely. Now, moving on to this ayah. Ayah number 46. Ayah number 46. For those who have your Qur'ans open, if you can open this as well. من الذين هادوا يحرفون الكلم عن مواضعه ويقولون سمعنا وعصينا واسمع غير مسمع وراعنا. All the way until the end of the ayah. ولكن لعنهم الله بكفرهم فلا يؤمنون إلا قليلا. Until the end of this ayah. Now, this was also to comfort Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also to warn those who thought they could deceive Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Allah Ta'ala. Now, Jews, when these here, two things are being addressed that Jews used to do. Firstly, they would change the words of Torah and interpret the way they wanted to. يحرفون الكلم. So they would change Torah, they would change few words of Torah, and they would say, oh no, this ayah does not mean this, it means this. To their own benefit, to their own way, they would interpret the ayah. This was the first thing that they would do. Allah Ta'ala has also given a warning to them. The second thing they used to do was Sami'na wa asayna. Now, they used to come to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Thereafter, they would say few things to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to comfort him, but in reality, they intended for something else. In their hearts, they had a different meaning. So when we look at this, Sami'na wa asayna, what they were saying is that we have heard you, Ya Rasulullah, and we disobey those who oppose you. Now, this is what they said to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, but my dear respected brothers and sisters, we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is concealed within the hearts. Now, this was something that they thought they were deceiving Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, but Allah Ta'ala was aware of this. They said, Sami'na wa atayna ya Rasulullah, after hearing what you have to say, we have heard you, and we will disobey those who oppose you. Now, the intended meaning for this was, we have heard you, Sami'na wa atayna, and we are disobeying in what you are saying. Meaning, whatever you are saying about Islam, the things that you are saying about Islam, we have heard it, and we don't believe in it. This is what they were saying in their hearts. Apparently, they were saying, Ya Rasulullah, we have heard you, and we will disobey those who oppose you. Moving on, وَاسْمَعْ غَيْرَ مُسْمَعٍ. This was also to console and to comfort Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as the Jews said, shall you not hear something which may go against your nature? وَاسْمَعْ غَيْرَ مُسْمَعٍ. Now, when you look at it literally, that's the literal translation. وَاسْمَعْ غَيْرَ مُسْمَعٍ. Shall you not hear something which may go against your nature? But the meaning that they had in their hearts was, may you not hear something that will make you happy. May you not hear such news that will make you happy. This is what they said. Lastly, they said, وَرَاعِنَا. Ra'ina meaning, Ya Rasulullah, you take care of us. Ya Rasulullah, take care of us. Now, ra'ina, in Arabic, that's what it means. Take care of us. Take care of us. But ra'ina in Ibrani, Hebrew language, meant a curse. It meant a bad word. And this is something that they were saying to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Allah Ta'ala said, okay, وَلَكِنْ لَعَنَهُمُ اللَّهُ بِكُفْرِهِمْ. Because of their disbelief, Allah Ta'ala they are free from Allah Ta'ala's mercy. فَلَا يُؤْمِنُونَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. they will not believe, only few will believe. Now, moving on to ayah number 65. Moving on to ayah number 65. فلا وربك لا يؤمنون حتى يحكموك فيما شجر بينهم ثم لا يجدوا في أنفسهم حرجا مما قضيت ويسلموا تسليما. Now, in this ayah, there's also a great fadila that was given to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Another great merit that was given to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam by Allah Ta'ala, and Allah Ta'ala is taking oath by Allah. These people, they will not believe, they will not have full iman حتى يحكموك فيما شجر بينهم, until they appoint you as a judge, and to judge the matter that is between them. ثم لا يجد في أنفسهم حرجا مما قضيت ويسلموا تسليما. And not only this, someone asked what surah is this? This is Surah Nisa. This is Surah Nisa. So then again, حتى يحكموك فيما شجر بينهم, Ya Rasulullah, tell these people that these people will not believe. These people, none of these people will have full iman until they appoint you as their judge. And I'll mention the story as well. Not only after appointing you, they also have to agree. They also have to submit. They have to accept your verdict. وَيُسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا, they have to accept what you are saying. They have to accept it. Not only accept it, but also be pleased with your decision. Now, what happened was that a person had come to. Now, then again, I will not get into the details of this story again. A person, because it will take too long. A person had come to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Two people had come to discuss their matter. So now Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, based on the matter, one person was favored over the other. So the person who was not favored, he went to Umar radiallahu anhu. He was looking for a different route. He was perhaps thinking that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying this. If I go to Umar radiallahu anhu would say something else. Thereafter, I will go and tell people, and I will go to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and say, Umar radiallahu anhu has told me to do this. That's why I'm doing this. Now, there's also a great lesson in this, and inshallah we'll learn about this as well. So when this person came to Umar radiallahu anhu and he said, and he narrated the story, Umar radiallahu anhu said, okay, wait. Umar radiallahu anhu went inside, he brought his sword and he killed this person. Now thereafter, there was a lot of noise and ruckus that, look, Umar radiallahu anhu has killed an innocent man and he has killed an innocent person. Now when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam found out about this, he asked Umar radiallahu anhu, he said, yeah, Umar, I did not expect this from you. I did not expect you to kill an innocent person. So after this, Umar radiallahu anhu was a little sad. He was a little upset as well. Now this, subhanAllah, this ayah was had been revealed for two reasons. One, to give the fadila of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam over others, to give merits of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and another reason was to agree with Umar radiallahu anhu. This ayah was revealed to agree with the decision of Umar radiallahu anhu, that Umar radiallahu anhu, since he killed that person, he did not do wrong. Now, my dear respected brothers and sisters, before I move on, I request everyone I will be back in 2 minutes, in a minute, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sorry for the delay. Now, this was the incident that had taken place. Now, a great lesson from this is that today, when we go to a scholar or let's say we go to someone to resolve our issues, to solve our problems. And today I decided to say this is what people do. And this is a trend that has been going on. Today we go, let's say we have a masala regarding something, regarding our business, regarding our house, regarding whatever it may be. We go to a scholar. Thereafter, if the scholar says sorry, in other words, if there is no benefit in the statement of the scholar, and the scholar is not actually favoring us, and the statement is actually not favoring us, what we do is that we look for a different scholar to see his opinion. We try to have a different route. My dear respected brothers, we cannot take Islam as a highway, or we cannot take Islam as just a simple road, meaning that we cannot decide to go one way, and if this way is not working out, we change our route. We go to a different way. If that way is not working out, we go somewhere else. This is what people do today when they choose to follow the school of thought of Imam Abu Hanifa. Now, when a person follows the school of thought of Imam Abu Hanifa, now, for instance, then whatever is easy for him, he follows. Now, whatever is hard for him, he says, let me try looking into other school of thoughts. Oh, Imam Malik, this is the opinion of Imam Malik, so I think I should do this. Thereafter, he chooses to follow the way of Imam Malik. Thereafter, he finds a few harsh things, then he will say, although there aren't, then he thinks, no, this is too harsh for me. Let me try Imam Shafi's way. I want to hear his opinion. Thereafter, this person decides to follow the opinion of Imam Shafi. So this is something, my dear respected brothers and sisters, this is something that we have to refrain from. Now, what we should do is that we should stick to one scholar, stick to one alim, stick to one mufti, whatever it may be, stick to one person. Thereafter, rely all your matters on him. Whatever matter you have, whether if it's regarding talaq, regarding nikah, regarding your house, regarding your car, regarding interest, whatever the decision, whatever question you have, you should have him. You should look up to him. Now, if he is saying something which is against you, which is going against your will, don't look for a different route. Don't think, okay, this is not working out for me. Let me ask another person. This is only from shaitan, my dear respected brothers and sisters. This is something what we have to refrain from. Now, moving on from Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu khudhu hidhrakum fanfiru thubatan aw anfiru jami'a, all the way until ayat number 115. All the way until 115. So, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu khudhu hidhrakum fanfiru thubatan aw anfiru jami'a, all the way nearly until wasa'at masira. These are the ahkam, and most of these ayahs are of jihad. Like I mentioned earlier, this is something that we will not do. So that leaves us with only few pages of this surah. Now, what we will do is, inshallah, we will read the rest of this. The rest of the juz. After, inshallah, we will be on La yuhibbullah. We will move on to the 6th juz. This is the 5th juz. Now, then again, my dear respected brothers and sisters, some may be questioning as to why we are skipping so much, as to why we are not doing all this, because these are the ahkam of jihad. Most of them are the ahkam of jihad. As this ayah is read as well, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu khudhu hidrakum fanfiru thubatan aw anfiru jami'a. Also jihad. أينما تكونوا يدرككم الموت. This ayah is also referring to jihad. It's linked with jihad. So this is something that we will not do at all. Now, the most important things in this was the rights of women. How before Islam, at the time of Jahiliyyah, women had no rights. Women did not have any portion in mirath, in inheritance. So these were ayahs that were revealed, that are read before you. I recited before you. Thereafter, this one of the important, also another important thing was this ayah also talks about those which are haram for you. So حرمت عليكم أمهاتكم وبناتكم وأخواتكم وعماتكم, and it's and going down. This is something then again we will not do in details. Now, starting from here. And number 117. إن يدعون من دونه إلا إناثا وإن يدعون إلا شيطانا مريدا. Now, and moving on all the way until ولا يجدون عنها محيصا. So now, what happened and what was going on at the time of in Mecca was that people, they would say the idols that they were worshiping, they would say these idols are females. They gave the female gender to them. They said all of our idols are females. So Lat, Banat, Uzza, and all the idols, they were not males, they were female idols. Thereafter, when they looked at Allah Ta'ala, they said Allah Ta'ala, the Malaika are also females. And he said Malaika are the daughters now of Allah Ta'ala. Now this was also to show that, so their claim as, this is something that is really, their claim in itself was, I forget the word, it was contradictory. Because what they were saying is that they were, at one point you are giving importance to women, on the other hand you are saying women are bad. Meaning they said that their lords, their idols are women. They were females. So now, by saying this, they were giving importance and significance to women. On the other hand, the women were not treated equally. So this is something that also was contradictory, that Allah Ta'ala also explains. Now, what we will do is, inshallah, we will read from الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا all the way until وَكَانَ اللَّهُ شَاكِرًا عَلِيمًا, until the end of the 5th juz. Thereafter, we will discuss few more matters, inshallah. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ سَنُدْخِلُهُم جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِن تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا أَبَدًا وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقًّا وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ قِيلًا. ليس بأمانيكم ولا أماني أهل الكتاب من يعمل سوءا يجزى به ولا يجد له من دون الله ولي ولا نصيرا ومن يعمل من الصالحات من ذكر أو أنثى وهو مؤمن فأولئك يدخلون الجنة ولا يظلمون نقيرا ومن أحسن دينا ممن أسلم وجهه لله وهو محسن واتبع ملة إبراهيم حنيفا واتخذ الله إبراهيم خليلا ولله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وكان الله بكل شيء محيطا ويستفتونك في النساء قل الله يفتيكم فيهن وما يتلى عليكم في الكتاب في يتامى النساء اللاتي لا تؤتونهن ما كتب لهن وترغبون أن تنكحوهن والمستضعفين من الولدان وأن تقوموا لليتامى بالقسط وما تفعلوا من خير فإن الله كان به عليما وإن امرأة خافت من بعلها نشوزا أو إعراضا فلا جناح عليهما أن يصلحا بينهما صلحا والصلح خير وأحضرت الأنفس الشح وإن تحسنوا وتتقوا فإن الله كان بما تعملون خبيرا ولن تستطيعوا أن تعدلوا بين النساء ولو حرصتم فلا تميلوا كل الميل فتذروها كالمعلقة وإن تصلحوا وتتقوا فإن الله كان غفورا رحيما وإن يتفرقا يغني الله كلا من سعته وكان الله واسعا حكيما ولله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض ولقد وصينا الذين أوتوا الكتاب من قبلكم وإياكم أن اتقوا الله وإن تكفروا فإن لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وكان الله غنيا حميدا ولله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وكفى بالله وكيلا إن يشاء يذهبكم أيها الناس ويأتي بآخرين وكان الله على ذلك قديرا ما كان يريد ثواب الدنيا فعند الله ثواب الدنيا والآخرة وكان الله سميعا بصيرا يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين بالقسط شهداء لله ولو على أنفسكم أو الوالدين والأقربين إن يكن غنيا أو فقيرا فالله أولى بهما فلا تتبعوا الهوى أن تعدلوا وإن تلووا أو تعرضوا فإن الله كان بما تعملون خبيرا يا أيها الذين آمنوا آمنوا بالله ورسوله آمنوا بالله ورسوله والكتاب الذي نزل على رسوله والكتاب الذي أنزل من قبل ومن يكفر بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله واليوم الآخر فقد ضل ضلالا بعيدا إن الذين آمنوا ثم كفروا ثم آمنوا ثم كفروا ثم ازدادوا كفرا لم يكن الله ليغفر لهم ولا ليهديهم سبيلا بشر المنافقين بأن لهم عذابا أليما الذين يتخذون الكافرين أولياء من دون المؤمنين يبتغون عندهم العزة فإن العزة لله جميعا. Now this is something, my dear respected brothers and others, my dear respected brothers and sisters, this ayah also needs to be addressed. This is something that is very important. Now all the ayahs are of course important. Now, الذين يتخذون الكافرين أولياء من دون المؤمنين أيبتغون عندهم العزة فإن العزة لله جميعا. This is something, then again, my dear respected brothers, it is very sad. It is happening today. Today, people, when we come to North America, we tend to forget our culture. We tend to forget who we are. We tend to forget our identity. And we tend to blend in and mix in. Now, in order for us to blend in order for us to mix in with the community, we have to dress the way they dress. We have to act the way they act. We have to be the way they are. And a lot of times I've seen people eat the food that, non-Muslims eat as well, just to blend in. This is something, my dear respected brothers and sisters, and also a very great issue that needs to be addressed. Today, when it comes to Halloween or when it comes to Christmas, we feel shy and we feel afraid to send our children to school if they are not wearing a costume. And honestly, it's sad to say that somewhat of the blame falls on parents as well. And I still remember last year. I still remember last year when I was teaching. So I was telling the students how it is not okay, it is not befitting for a Muslim to celebrate Halloween and Christmas and Easter Bunny and all these holidays. So one small boy he came to me and he said to me, "Teacher, can you help me?" He said, "I have a really big problem." I said, "You're so little. What problem do you have?" I said, "Do you have any financial statements that you have to pay?" "Well, what do you have to do? You have to pay your car insurance." He said, No, I have a really big problem." I said, "Well, what's your problem?" So he said, "The problem is I know the importance of Islam, and I know how Muslims should not wear costumes on Halloween, and how Muslims should not celebrate Halloween." I said, "MashaAllah, that's very good. So what's the problem that you have?" He said, "My parents are forcing me to dress up to wear a costume, to dress up as a vampire and go to school. My parents are forcing me to go for Halloween. Normally it's the other way around. It's vice versa. The children force parents to go for Halloween. Now in this scenario, the parents were forcing the child to go for Halloween, so the child can blend in, just so the people, just so his friends can say, he's part of us, he's part of us, and he blends in with us. My dear respected brothers and sisters, Allah Ta'ala says clearly, those people who take kafirin, the non-Muslims, as their best friends, they do everything with them just to blend in with them. Allah Ta'ala says, and we've said this before, the non-Muslims will never be happy with us. Until, whether it be a Jew, whether it be a Muslim, whether it be a Hindu, whoever it may be, they will never be pleased with you until you accept their way, until you accept their religion. So similarly here, people today, they think by mixing with the non-Muslim, they think by totally being like them, the way they speak, the way they act, the way they eat, we will be respected and given honor in the eyes of people. This is one concept, my dear respected brothers, that is false. We have to understand this. As Allah Ta'ala says, أَيَبْتَغُونَ عِنْدَهُمُ الْعِزَّةِ. By doing this, by blending in, by wearing a costume on Halloween, by having a Christmas tree, in your house for Christmas, by having all these eggs and celebrating Easter Bunny or whatever the day may be. All of this will not lead you towards Izzah. By doing this, you will not have respect. Do not forget, فَإِنَّ الْعِزَّةَ لِلَّهِ جَمِيعًا. Izzah, respect, honor is only respect is something that Allah Ta'ala gives. Respect is something that is in the hands of Allah Ta'ala. Today we may think if Allah Ta'ala wants a person to have respect, He will give him respect. If Allah Ta'ala wants to take respect away from someone, He will take respect away from him. For instance, you can be teaching, you can be a professor, you can have your net worth to be in the millions, you could be a professor, the best and the biggest and the most learned of professors teaching at Oxford University. If Allah Ta'ala does not want to give you Izzah, He will not give you Izzah. On the other hand, a person is a janitor who works at a school, just a regular school. Izzah in the hands of Allah, my dear respected brothers. This is what we have to understand. If Allah Ta'ala wants, He will give this janitor more Izzah than that person who is working, who is actually a professor at the University of Oxford. This is the power of Allah Ta'ala. This is what we have to understand, this concept that we have to understand. And lastly, I would like to say, مَنْ تَشَبَّهَ بِقَوْمٍ فَهُوَ مِنْهُمْ. A person who resembles a nation, he is from that nation. And الْمَرْءُ مَعَ مَنْ أَحَبَّهُ. A person is with whom he loves, meaning a person will be resurrected whom he loves. And for instance, in this world, a person, now in this life, a person who has love for dunya, he has love for the people of dunya, he has love for singers and etc. Now, although this person, now the parents, on this person who's about to pass away, his will is, make sure that you bury me next to Muslims. Now, although this person will be buried next to Muslims, but on Yawm al-Qiyamah, he will not be resurrected with Muslims, he will be resurrected with the singers. He will be resurrected with the people that he loved in this world. So this is then again, my dear respected brothers, we have to understand that Izzah is only in the hands of Allah Ta'ala. And the reason why I've said this is because I've witnessed this myself. Today, people, when they come to North America, when they go to different parts of the world, they try to blend in. They try their hardest. They eat the food they eat. They celebrate they celebrate their celebration, their holidays. So this is something, my dear respected brothers, that should not be happening. الذين يتربصون بكم فإن كان لكم فتح من الله قالوا ألم نكن معكم وإن كان للكافرين نصيب قالوا ألم نستحوذ عليكم ونمنعكم من المؤمنين فالله يحكم بينكم يوم القيامة ولن يجعل الله للكافرين على المؤمنين سبيلا إن المنافقين يخادعون الله وهو خادعهم وإذا قاموا إلى الصلاة قاموا كسالى يراءون الناس ولا يذكرون الله إلا قليلا. This is also a very important issue, my dear respected brothers, that needs to be addressed. وإذا قاموا إلى الصلاة قاموا كسالى يراءون الناس ولا يذكرون الله إلا قليلا. My dear respected brothers and sisters, these are the qualities that Allah says of, as we read before, إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ. They think they can deceive Allah وَهُوَ خَادِعُهُمْ, but they do not deceive anyone but themselves. Now, here, وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ. These are the details and the descriptions and the qualities of a munafiq, that a munafiq has. And these are qualities, these are bad qualities, these are something that we should not have. وَإِذَا قَامُوا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ قَامُوا كُسَالَى. When they stand to pray salah before Allah Ta'ala, today I've seen many people there, when we pray, when we are waiting in line, we are vigilant, we are, we're up right away. When we are playing a game of soccer, when we are playing a game of basketball, whatever we are doing, when we are driving today, we are, we have to be, we are alert. That's the word. But when it comes to salah, sometimes people, they themselves forget if they have read Surah Fatiha or not. People themselves, they forget whether they have read Subhana Rabbil Azim or not, or Subhana Rabbil A'la or not. And this is a quality, my dear respected brothers, that we should not have. I will get into the details of this, inshallah, later on. Another bad quality is يراؤون الناس, to pray salah for show. Today when we are in the masjid, we tend to prolong our nafal salah, we tend to prolong our fard salah. Mashallah, the salah is now nafal salah has become 10 minutes. Fard salah has become now 15 minutes. Mashallah, this person is so pious. Now when he's at home, the same fard salah becomes 2 minutes. The same sunnah now becomes 30 seconds. So this is something, my dear respected brothers, if we are doing this, then we truly have to correct ourselves. If it takes us 5 minutes to pray out fard salah at home, and it takes us 10 minutes to pray out fard salah in the masjid, that means there's something wrong there. That means there is a huge problem. If we are taking 3 minutes, or let's say 5 minutes to pray 2 rakat nafil salah, but when we are in the masjid, we are taking 7 minutes, that means there's something wrong. Now you can do vice versa. Now you are in a better position if you are praying fard salah in the masjid and it takes you 15 minutes. Sorry, not 15 minutes, it takes you if you are in the masjid and it takes you 5 minutes to pray fard salah, you are in a better position. Now, if you are in the house and you pray the fard salah, the same fard salah takes you 10 minutes. If it's like if this is what you are experiencing and this is what you have, it must have when you pray salah, it takes less time. When you're praying salah by yourself, it takes longer. That means alhamdulillah you are in a good position. But if it's vice versa, if the tables are turned, if you are the amount of salah it takes you, the amount of time it takes you to pray salah here at your house is less than the amount of salah, the amount of time it takes you to pray salah in the masjid is more, then that means there is a big problem. This is something that we have to fix. And وَلَا يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. This is also another quality of the munafiqeen. Today, my dear respected brothers, it's sad to say that when we pray salah today, many of us are engaged out in business meetings. And honestly, we are thinking about our business now. The Imam is reciting Surah Fatiha, but instead of focusing on Surah Fatiha, this person is thinking, tomorrow, today I made this much money, tomorrow I will have business with that person, I will have a transaction with that person. My dear respected brothers, the closest a person can get to Allah Ta'ala in this world is in Surah. Because this is the mi'raj of a believer. The closest a person can get to Allah Ta'ala in Surah is in Sajda. This is the closest a person can get to Allah Ta'ala in Sajda. Now ask the world today, in Sajda, are they thinking about Allah Ta'ala, or are they thinking about dunya? Are they thinking about Allah Ta'ala, or are they involved in what's better, Apple or Android? Are they thinking about Allah Ta'ala, or are the women folk thinking about their recipes and about their children? So this is something, my dear respected brothers, we have to understand. If we are so close to Allah Ta'ala, when a person does sajda, وَإِذَا سَجْدَ أَحَدُكُمْ فَإِنَّمَا سَجْدَ عَلَىٰ قَدْمِ الرَّحْمَنِ. When we do sajda, we are so close to Allah Ta'ala. Now, if we are so close to Allah Ta'ala, then, and even after being so close to Allah Ta'ala, we are not able to take from the benefits of Allah Ta'ala, then who to blame? You can't blame anyone but yourself. It's as if you're locked inside a grocery store and you still die out of starvation. Then who to blame? You live next to a lake, fresh river. You still die thirsty, then who to blame? You have no one to blame but yourself. When we are so close to Allah Ta'ala and says that thereafter we're not able to acquire and gain from the treasures of Allah, then who to blame? You have no one to blame but yourself. Moving on. مُذَبْذَبِينَ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ لَا إِلَىٰ هَؤُلَاءِ وَلَا إِلَىٰ هَؤُلَاءِ وَمَنْ يُضْلِلْ لَهُ فَلَنْ تَجِدَ لَهُ سَبِيلًا. Now then again, very simple, very brief. This is also another quality of the munafiq. And today it's sad to say people also have this. مُذَبْذَبِينَ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ. As my teacher used to say, these people are like their example is of a soccer ball. When a person is playing soccer, the ball, one person kicks the ball, the defender kicks the ball, then the other person kicks the ball, then the ball goes back and forth, back and forth. This is some of us. It's sad to say some of us are like that in Deen as well. We don't know which way to take. We don't know if we should go here. We don't know if we should accept this. We don't know if we should accept this way. So this, then again, is very wrong, and this is something that we should not do and not have. Moving on, يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا الكافرين أولياء من دون المؤمنين أتريدون أن تجعلوا لله عليكم سلطانا مبينا. إن المنافقين في الدرك الأسفل من النار ولن تجد لهم نصيرا. Now in this ayah, إن المنافقين في الدرك الأسفل. Now here it talks about munafiqin and how they will be in the lowest of stages in Jahannam. Now the stages of Jahannam, the stages of Jannah, inshallah, we will also do in details. And we will talk about the different stages and the levels of Jahannam as well. إلا الذين تابوا وأصلحوا واعتصموا بالله وأخلصوا دينهم لله فأولئك مع المؤمنين وسوف يؤتي الله المؤمنين أجرا عظيما ما يفعل الله بعذابكم إن شكرتم وآمنتم وكان الله شاكرا عليما. والحمد لله. With the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, alhamdulillah, today we have finished our 5th juz as well. Inshallah, tomorrow we will start with our 6th juz. Now, before I end up and before I make a small dua, is there anyone who would like to suggest something or perhaps say something? You are free to do so. You can either type or press star.
All participants are muted and they can unmute themselves.
You can also type if you have a question. Okay, so no worries. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, now the month of Ramadan is coming, alhamdulillah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us to pray Taraweeh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also make it easy for us to fast in the month of Ramadan with ease. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also enable us to perform acts of good, to perform acts of righteousness with ease and comfort. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also enable us to stay away from haram. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the month of Ramadan, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also enable us to have love for Quran, to have love for Hadith, to have love for Rasulullah, to have love for Allah, to have love for this deen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also make us the means of guiding others to Islam, towards Hidayah. جزاك الله خيرا for your time. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.
All participants are muted. This segment is no longer being recorded. Goodbye.